Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos come together and talk about nerd shit. It's me, Luis Gonzalez, and with me is
Miguel Sanchez
and Ed Bull.
And this week we are talking about The Penguin.
Wow.
It was the series finale. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a special guest, Erik Jue. He was here for the first time we talked about The Penguin. He actually worked on The Penguin, so we'll get some insight on that. But before we do all that, we got to talk about the news. Guys, we have so much news. I'm going to try to speed through it so we can get right to The Penguin. Are you guys game for that?
Oh, let's go.
Okay.
Until I feel the need to talk about it.
Great. Let's get right to it. Thunderbolts and Captain America trailer. I'm going to tell my thoughts immediately and we can move on. These are my thoughts. I'm excited for Thunderbolts way more than I'm excited for Captain America. I'm done.
Whoa, 10,000% agree. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if there's anything else we need to say, but like Thunderbolts, I'm sold. And listen, this latest trailer that they had, they fucking did what I told you that they should do. They played a scene. Remember, I brought up The Devil Wears Prada? I was like, damn, they did a great job with The Devil Wears Prada trailer because they played a scene from the movie. And in this new Thunderbolts trailer, they played a little scene before the trailer starts. And I was like, they heard me. They listened to Punch Drunk Nerd.
They knew.
All I got to say is I'm excited for Thunderbolts more than Captain America. Shoot, is there more to say?
I mean, I agree 1,000%. This movie is like the Suicide Squad for the Marvel universe, right?
Yeah, that's like a shorthand way to say it. You know what I mean? But like,
oh, so you can do that, but all right.
I can do that.
I look forward to this one. Okay, Captain America sucks. Let's go. All
okay,
right.
Max, we got a new Max trailer. It's like, hey, this is what's happening at Max. Honestly, I wrote this a long time ago. I've already forgotten what's happening here.
So drunk. Let's go.
They showed some new footage of things that I've already forgotten. Hacks, Dune Prophecy, Last of Us, and other things.
Real quick, you guys watching that Dune show?
No.
Will I watch it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, guys, welcome to our podcast. We're talking about things you guys want to watch? Who cares?
Let us know. Hit us up. We have an Instagram. Did you guys know that? Another trailer that came out is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Ed.
What's funny enough about this is they didn't call it Part 2. They cleverly called it The Final Reckoning.
They moved on
because the Part 1 didn't do well for them. Let's talk about this movie. Trailer, boring as hell. I wasn't excited about it, to be honest. The reason why is that's why I brought up the Fallout trailer, which I love. This trailer, a lot of running, don't care.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I'm passing it off to you. I'm just trying to move fast to the Penguin.
Sure.
Ed, go ahead.
No, I mean, I disagree that I thought it was boring. I thought like very clicky, like, you know, just the beats. But when you showed me that trailer for Fallout, which granted was like a full trailer, let's be honest here, Luis.
Is this not a full trailer? Oh, it's a teaser trailer.
It's a teaser, you can't.
It's okay. He's British. He can say that. Everybody, all right.
No, it was poppy, visually very vibrant. You know, you spotted some things that obviously we've seen like leaked footage of, yada yada. I mean, they're not keeping it hush hush. Christopher McQuarrie does not give a shit about giving out spoilers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he never knows what is going to make it to the film or doesn't. Like you listen to their process of making these movies, and I've listened to hours and hours of Christopher McQuarrie talking about how he throws these movies together, and it is absolutely insane. And it is just, you know, half of it. And I was noticing this in the Fallout trailer. I was like, well, that didn't make it into the movie. That didn't make it into the movie. And that was the final trailer, because they edit this up until release, basically.
Right. Very Marvel of them.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's with the they lead with the stunts and then try and piece it together, basically. Yeah. And what they have, but you know, visually it seemed very appealing. They, like I said, the stunts look like they're working like hella. I will just say though, I felt like it was missing that luster from the Fallout.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Did it?
A little bit, like it needed a bit more punch.
I just say that I watched all of the,
but only by comparison. When I first watched the trailer,
right?
Sorry,
I watched all the Mission Impossible trailers, and I was like, "Damn, this is kind of the Fast and Furious of like a spy franchise." You know, like they were, let's do the stunts, let's do the family angle, and they did it like 5 times.
Well, the thing is this last trailer really leaned into the whole family aspect. Compared to the past.
But did you watch the last 6 before you watched
I just watched the Fallout trailer. That's the best one.
I'm just saying, it's very much like watch this movie, start it from this point, and watch all these movies. And I don't know, I watched like all the way from the first one. And also, let me say one more thing, okay? No spoilers, but I deleted my Twitter today. And one of the last things I saw was Mission Impossible 3 is kind of like the hot topic movie of this franchise that's coming back. And then I watched that trailer and I was like, okay.
So I feel like that's just fans horseshoeing something that doesn't even like. It doesn't
this is like we're bringing it back.
We've been through eras again. Like
people want to bring back 3 somehow.
Yeah,
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Yeah, you know.
This is a teaser trailer. We're going to get more trailers. We obviously love Mission Impossible on this podcast. We'll do a ranking later. So stay tuned for a trailer of this, not just a teaser trailer. The Final Reckoning. Remember, he wants to keep doing this role till he's 80. Let's get to the normal news here. We're going to speed through this. You guys know I'm an AMC fuckboy. I have an AMC A-list subscription. And, you know, they are adding a new format called XL. All that basically is saying is like they're going to up the prices. They're just finding ways to make things more expensive. So it's like, hey, these screens are not as big as Dolby or IMAX, but they're kind of big. It's all laser. It's all 4K or more. That's all that's happening. Star Wars is making a movie trilogy. Wow, didn't see that coming. They're going to be doing a lot of stuff here. Ed, you put this in the doc. Tell us more about the Star Wars movie.
Long line of like, you know, good directors, hot directors, or in and out directors who are being committed to certain projects that subsequently fall apart. Not most recently, but like one example was the Patty Jenkins Rogue Squadron movie. Rian Johnson, of course, was supposed to be making his own trilogy that took Star Wars to a whole new, you know, phase, you know, without Skywalkers, which they keep coming back to, whatever. You know, we also have actively, supposedly in the works, there's movies from Sean Levy, Taika Waititi, Donald Glover, James Mangold, and Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. And they, you know, they're just kind of like out there in the cosmos, kind of like Blade. They're just like, they mentioned it, but now they just don't know what to do with it. I think a big part of it is they're just fucking scared. They're too cowardly to commit to anything. We just saw that with The Acolyte, which has been the most interesting, like, original content from Star Wars in a while. That isn't tied like anywhere to like the Skywalker saga. So yeah, it is just like another and a long line of announcements, especially given that they're announcing a trilogy. You just find, you know, you're just like, okay, I give it like a year. I give it a 2 year. I did take a poll on this. You know, most people said like, give it 3 years. And by then most people have forgotten it's even happening. And they'll just be like, oh yeah, well, you know, we're doing something else now. And I just feel like that's going to continue on this trend because they're just too chicken shit to commit to anything. Outside of a series is like a cheap, lame excuse to try something out. If it doesn't work, they can cower and do something else instead.
I feel like
movie failures sing louder than TV failures.
Absolutely. They spend so much time and money. I feel like they should do what they do with Fortnite. Where they do it. Got locked in. I knew when I said it, Miguel, I was going to pay attention again. No, you know how they divide it into what, chapters and seasons or seasons and chapters? How does that work? I always forget what's the order there. Fuck it. I think they should do chapters. Like this is the Skywalker chapter. And then there are episodes within
and then
that.
Season, something about,
No, they should do a chapter where it's like, this is the Skywalker chapter. Great. We're done. Now there's a new trilogy coming. Let's call this the blah, 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 blah chapter, where it's like the Galactic War chapter. And it has nothing to do with Skywalker. Like, we did the Skywalker chapter. Let's move on to like another thing.
That's another thing is like, I'm so tired of studios committing to a franchise over just like an idea. It's just like,
that's good. Yeah, you're right.
Here's we're just going to start this and hope that it has legs. Otherwise, we're just going to pretend like it never happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's such a bullshit ideology. You just come up with something original, for the love of fuck. Come up with something original. Do something original. Commit to something. Take a risk. Like, good God Almighty! Like the fact that we're not getting a season 2 of The Acolyte. You know, just like
probably for the best.
I mean, maybe I don't know.
I don't know.
I think we all agree Star Wars sucks.
There's also the factor that they've diminished the wow factor, the event factor of what Star Wars was.
I just remember like the wow and the event was like all the way back in episode 1, and then I was like, I don't have to watch any of these movies after that.
But you'll play the games. You'll really play those games.
Yeah, I mean, something about like wielding a lightsaber. I'll play that.
Oh, fucking stabbing stormtroopers.
Yeah, and then we nerf it a little bit. Okay,
right.
You know, let me bonk them with a lightsaber. Have you ever bonked someone with a lightsaber? No. Okay.
Yeah.
You decimate them. That's the fun.
Speaking of someone who's decimating the culture, Lady Gaga, she's everywhere. She is going to be in Wednesday, the Netflix series featuring Jenna Ortega.
I love that because
season 2.
We need to give Lady Gaga, like, you know, let's give her something that people enjoy. Okay. Because I feel like Joker 2 was not the one for a lot of people. I want
to knock on Lady Gaga's door and be like, hey, Lady Gaga, I liked it. You know what I mean?
I loved it.
I'm sorry. I fuck the internet and what they're saying. You did good.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Absolutely. Let's see you again.
I want the podcast to succeed so that I can meet Lady Gaga and just tell her, look, you did good. I would love it if
the next 75 episodes we were just like, I love Lady Gaga.
This episode is brought to you by Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, yeah.
Please don't sue us.
What this episode is not sponsored by is by T-Pain. T-Pain did a Get Low redux. You know the song Get Low?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is printed notes.
Yeah, I added this, Ed. We're always changing and growing here. Get Low. So I talk about this because this is so hella random. You guys know Mark Zuckerberg, the guy who made Facebook? Okay. Well, apparently T-Pain met Mark Zuckerberg and they were listening to Mark Zuckerberg was listening to Get Low or something like that. And he was like, I love this song. So then now on Spotify, you can find Get Low, and there is an acoustic version with Mark Zuckerberg singing with T-Pain on the guitar of the song Get Low. Is that not blowing anybody else's mind? I feel like that I had to take a break from work for about 5 minutes to let this sink in, because that's crazy. Mark Zuckerberg singing with T-Pain on Get Low?
Have you seen the like re-image of Mark Zuckerberg lately? He's in the black tee. He's in the broccoli head. He's in the gold chain. You know, like he's like
got a bit of a tan.
I'm different.
Yeah. Yeah, he's different. Yeah. Well, go check out Get Low for like a few seconds and then move on. Wrapping up the news here, we got one more thing quickly into the Penguin feature discussion. Blair Witch Project. Have you guys know about this movie? You know, have you ever heard about the Blair Witch Project?
What's that?
It was a huge movie.
Wait. Real quick. Ed, Luis, Miguel. How old were you when Blair Witch came out? Ed, go.
When did it came out in 2000?
99.
I don't know. Whenever it came out, when you could 10. Think about it.
I would have been 10.
10.
I think 99, right?
Luis, go ahead. No, on vibes. On vibes.
Oh, I think I was like I don't know, like 6.
I would have said 1. You know, I'm so young. I'm so young.
No, I don't think I was born
old.
yet. I don't think I was born yet for this movie. What is
Actually, the Blair Witch birthed me, so that's crazy.
Yeah.
It was 99.
Okay, so let me just give you some quick like film knowledge here. Okay,
Do it.
this movie is getting a I think a 4K release, and it's like, and you're like, oh, who gives a fuck? It's a 4K release. Like, why should we care? Well, let me tell you why. Are you into movies? Are you into like little facts about movies? Well, then you locked into the right podcast.
I hate those.
Okay, well, Ed, you're into movies. Okay,
I like them. Yeah.
So 25 years ago, when the film was released, it was filmed on hi-8 video, which is just like a tape. It's like video. It's not film.
Right.
All right. It's not
Camcorder.
film. Yeah, camcorder. It's not film. So when they released it in theaters, they were like, yo, we can't play this. Like, we can't just do a digital version of this. We're not at that place right now. It's 1999. Figure it. It's 1999 in Australia.
1999.
Yeah, thank you. 1999 Australia. We need to be filmed. So what they did was they did a process called telecine, which is where they went to a special place, they played the video, but then they got a 35 millimeter film camera to record the video. Do you understand what's happening here? It's like if you played a YouTube video and I got my camera and I recorded that YouTube video. It's what they do on TikTok a lot.
You right now, kind of thing.
Exactly. They do it on TikTok a lot. So then they took that 35 millimeter filming and then they screened it in theaters everywhere. Got it? Cool. That makes sense. When they released the DVD, do you know what they did? They didn't go back to the source. They then said, hey, we have this 35 millimeter film that we filmed the video. So now we're going to take that 35 millimeter film and then we're going to take that and then convert it back into video. Do you understand the problem there? They took too many steps. They're like, hey, we're going to just ruin this movie when we release it on DVD. So when it released on DVD, artists made a huge mistake. They sent it back to video and it introduced a lot of errors. There was a lot of serious motion errors. It gave the hi-8 footage film grain and muddied all the colors. The edits of the transfer became 3-frame dissolves. So, you know, when you watch a movie and it cuts to something else, you know, you're like, oh, wow, that's a cut. I'm seeing a new angle. In the Blair Witch, because they went through so many transitions, when it cut to a new angle, it would have this very awkward, like 3-frame dissolve. Do you understand what that means? Do you know what a dissolve is?
It's the worst.
It's when you go from one image to another and it dissolves.
And it makes me so mad.
Exactly. It should make everybody mad. So
George Lucas likes it though.
I think this is the thing is I just wanted to bring it up because this was such a backward ass way of releasing this thing. It's like, hey,
hang on. The way George Lucas would do this.
This is what's going to happen. I'm going to record this. I'm going to record this YouTube video with my phone. Okay. And then I'm going to record my phone with another phone. And then I'm going to give that footage to you. Do you understand?
Yeah. Somewhere along the way, I'm committing murder, you know?
Yeah. So if you don't want to see footage filming of there's a 4K. Okay, great.
I've never seen the movie. I'm excited.
I've never seen it either. I've never seen it.
Oh,
it's too scary. It's too scary.
Let's do a Christmas viewing of the Blair Witch Project.
Guys, this movie was evolutionary. When this movie got released, people were like, "Oh my god, did this really happen?"
No, I remember because I was in 3rd grade. And
you're in 3rd grade, and you're like, "Mommy, why are these people dying in the woods?" And then she's like, "It's okay. We're in the city. We don't have to worry about those people."
You know what? That's like editorializing. I don't think that's how that happened. At all. Okay, I went to a school where everyone was like, motherfucker, the witch is out there. Okay, she's coming for us or whatever.
And I grew up in England where there are lots of woods and lots of witches, and we talk about them frequently.
Blair witches. Okay.
Blair witches.
Who's Blair?
But again,
but also Ed came up, his people came up with Harry Potter, and he was like, oh wait, tell me more. All right.
Tell me again and again.
Of course, Harry Potter had scratches on his forehead. You know who else had scratches was the Penguin. He had scratches all over his face. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the Penguin right now. Okay, we are back. We are here to talk about the featured discussion today. The Penguin season finale. Guys, Erik is back. Welcome, Erik.
Hi, hello.
There he is. There he is.
Thank you.
For those who kind of missed our first episode where we talked about the Penguin, Erik actually worked on the Penguin, right?
Yeah. I was the 24 frame video playback operator on the Penguin.
And another, explain to me like a 5-year-old, you controlled the images on the phones, right?
On the phones, on the screens, on the computers, and everywhere where sometimes even the big backdrops were screens and you couldn't really tell. But yeah.
I listen, amazing work, because every time I look at other people's like screen, I'm always looking at screens when I'm watching TV. Anal. To be honest, I'm very anal. I'm like, oh, they green screen this, or they didn't even pick up their phone, or this or that, you know. And here I was like, no, I felt very taken care of. It was very comfortable. I enjoyed my viewing. I didn't feel taken out of the world, because that usually takes me out of the world when I see devices. I'm like, what kind of user interface is this shit? You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
No, that's so true. No. They pick up an iPhone and you're like, why does it have an Android background? You fucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
that's not good.
No.
Apple will sue you. Apple's very just strict about that stuff. Yeah.
Erik, I have actually, if we're talking about Apple, I have a really quick question. Okay. And this is, I feel like in your wheelhouse, you let me know. Okay.
Okay.
There's this whole theory that Apple doesn't let bad guys hold iPhones. Okay. And I was surprised.
Do you remember what phone Oz had?
Well, that's my question, because Sofia was definitely holding an iPhone. Maroney was definitely, Salvatore he seemed like he was holding an Android. I can't imagine what the Penguin was holding, except
the
I remember
Penguin was holding an iPhone as well. I know.
He was looking at TikTok. That's all I remember. Okay. Which I assume was Eric's doing. Okay. But what can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this is so funny, because this is a rule that is like, people think that they have learned a secret, but really there's another even like further detail to it. Yeah, so it is true that Apple does not allow their iOS to be a part of any bad guys. That is a loose kind of vague term that they will interpret themselves, but on top of that, this really only pertains to if you are a part of an Apple-sponsored show. So for this show, Apple sent us a whole plethora of brand new devices, and we used the latest of whatever was out at that time. And so because that's the kind of give and take, so they'll send you the newest stuff, but you got to make sure that no nefarious activity happens on your stuff. So you could do bad things on an iPhone, but if you're not being sponsored by them, then they can't do anything about it.
It's funny because like there are some companies that just pop to mind, like Jaguar, the car. They relish the fact that most of the people who drive those cars are villains in movies. Specifically,
what was the car?
Jaguar.
Thank you.
Jaguar. They even did like a little commercial campaign where they had like a handful of villains from like movies, like Tom Hiddleston was one. I want to say Mark Strong was in it too, and they were all just like driving their own Jaguar cars, and they embraced it. They embraced that, which I like. So it's one of those things. It's kind of like when fucking Jason, what's his name?
Bourne.
Statham. Like those Fast and Furious guys had it in their contract to where they can't be beaten up. You know, in that contract in a movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, petty shit like that. You know, that's what I think about.
Yeah. No, actually, I'm totally on the same page with you, Ed, about that. And I don't know if we want to get into it in this podcast, but I have a lot of feelings about Apple And they are to me rich little snotty kid on the playground who like
we're a baby podcast. We're trying to get sponsored. So
my bad. Whoops. Yeah. No. For sure.
Not all of us can work on movie sets every day. Okay.
Sorry.
You got to pay for the Patreon for our After Dark episode. Then we'll get
you'll
into
hear.
It,
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
PDN Dark. Yeah.
I love that.
No, Oz had an Android. Oz had a Galaxy. Sal had a Galaxy, and I believe Sofia is the only one that had an iPhone, I believe.
It's blowing my mind that you guys were even noticing that. No offense to you, Eric. I was just like,
but you didn't know that. You didn't know that, like rule.
I wasn't like looking at the phones. I guess not really.
I feel like. I just feel like I've known that theory for a while, and I was surprised that I was watching Sofia like slide to unlock or to answer a call, and then when she would like put her phone up, I would be like, oh, that's like an iPhone, and I thought we weren't allowed to do that. Can I ask? And here, hang on, I'm gonna mark it real quick. Listen, we can cut this if we need to. Eric, you texted me, or we were on Fortnite, and you were like, oh, Miguel, this one episode, you'll know when the egregious error, quote unquote, or whatever you said happened.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about like what? Because I think I know when it happens. Because you were like, oh, Miguel, you'll be able to catch it right away. Do you remember saying that?
I do remember saying that, and it's it's me just projecting my insecurities onto you. Is basically what that is.
You've worked on it, so you know where to look at it, and you're just like, right, you saw it. But I'm curious as to what that moment. It was not the last episode, but it was the episode before last when Sal was there and they like capture Penguin. They got the mom held hostage. That's that episode. Can you just like tell me real quick what was I supposed to catch? Because I think I know what it is, but I don't want to say if I'm wrong.
So I'm ratting on myself here, but that's okay. So Sal,
I marked it again. Here we go.
Yeah. So basically, Sal calls Sofia to tell Sofia that they caught the Penguin, and for some reason Sal is an old, I guess it makes sense. Sal's an older guy. He doesn't use the dark theme on his phone, and so he has like a super bright white light that I remember trying to put down the brightness, but it was such a closed small set that I was like upstairs and they were shooting in the basement, and like I could not get down there in time. So anyways, it was a whole thing. But then that wouldn't have been so bad, but then he also, when he put it up to his ear, it didn't go black, which is what's supposed to happen in a phone call.
Okay.
Yes, I think about that too. Yeah. I actually, that's, now that you're saying that, I do remember there was like a glow on his face. The brightness
which is so distracting to me. Yeah.
Maybe he had a broken sensor. You know what I mean? He's fighting a lot of people. Sometimes he doesn't really notice that.
The phone's fucked up.
The phone's fucked up. Yeah, he's been through some shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible,
The full brightness, I feel like, is very much a character choice, though, because, I feel like there are people who are really, older.
Do you guys ever see?
Do you guys ever see all the way up? You open up
do y'all see those memes on the internet where they're like a person at a baseball game will zoom into someone in front of them and they're like texting their wife and they're like, "I'm gonna fuck you hard tonight." And it's on like the 99 font, and you're like, "How are you going through life texting like that? We shouldn't be doing that." No, I was wondering because that was the scene that I thought it was. I was wondering if that's why I asked about the whole Apple Android thing, because I was curious if it was like the UI when he faces the phone to the camera. But yeah, also he does put it up to his ear and you see the glow there. So yeah, okay, that's good to know that I was in the ballpark, as it were, of what the issue was.
And there is a little bit more inside baseball there, because we, like I think I mentioned before in the beginning, in the season opener episode, that we were filming this during the pandemic. And so when the strikes. We were filming this during the strikes. Yeah.
I was like, how long ago?
Most of its recent disaster.
I get it. Yeah.
Exactly.
We were filming this through the bombing of World War III.
Yeah, exactly. And so we had gone on strike, and we were, I think, in the middle of the second or third episode. And then when we came back, there were some rewrites, and actually a whole bunch of characters changed devices. And so so I think Vic had started with an iPhone, and then we had to go back and change him to an Android. And we changed like his the way they choose backdrops, and it has to go through all these like legal clearances and like all this stuff.
Love
So
that. I love that type of stuff.
Yeah.
That's
These are all things yeah. Go ahead, Miguel.
One last real quick, like how long, just on an average, like any given day, how long were you on set?
So my day varies greatly. Depending
Is it
on
like they have
shooting.
a phone or they don't have a phone and I'm on set or I'm not, you know?
Some days it's like that, yeah. Some days it's like there's a device, I'm here for that scene. I don't even sometimes come in with the crew. I'll come in later. That's called staggering the call. And so they'll stagger my call to a later time. And I'll come in for that one scene and I'll dip. And then some days I'm there all day because there's a big electronic scene, or maybe they have something in the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. So it doesn't make sense for me to like leave in the middle. So I stay for the whole day.
Yeah.
Or I will be there in the beginning for the day and then I have to set something up for like next week. I have to rig something. And so it's like, it's a big, just as efficiently as possible. I got to maximize my time on set, basically.
Wow. That's so cool.
It's like a big machine, man. It's crazy working on some of these big shows, you know, the logistics and everything that goes into it. It's astounding.
Yeah.
What was everyone's initial reaction to the Penguin?
I was gonna. No, okay. Now, like and Eric, thank you for coming on, but we're done with your expertise.
Okay,
let's go ahead and talk
about.
It
was nice meeting you, Eric. We'll catch you next time, guys. You and me. What are we talking about? I'm so good at my segues. I couldn't think of one. But here we go.
What I love about it
what
is
everyone
Eric,
think about. Oh, shit.
What I love is Eric and I got together before the show came out, and he was like, I have thoughts, but I'll wait. And I was surprised by just kind of his initial reaction to it, how like the ending reaction to it all. Like, I love that Eric got to see the show in two views. He worked on it, and then
I was going to say, like it wasn't an experience that you had to disassociate yourself. You already felt like you could separate yourself as an audience member, or maybe. And scene with the cell phone might just be like hanging over you, and you're just like,
you're like, I know. Oh, hang on, I know.
No, thank you. But I mean, it's cool that you get that dual perspective on it. So, what were your thoughts?
Oh, wait, before we start, actually, sorry. Before we start,
damn it, Luis.
Before we do this, we actually have a voice memo from one of our listeners here. Again,
we're doing that.
We're doing it. We're doing it here. Eric, thank you for joining here. Listen, if you want to drop in your voice memo about some news, about a review that we're doing, just send it to one of us. This one was texted to me personally. But if you don't know us personally, just send it to our DM us on our Instagram. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
So here we go. You might recognize this voice. What did you think about the Penguin?
It's me, the Penguin. Long time listener. First time caller. Good to see Ed back on the show after his pregnancy scare. Miguel, please don't interrupt me. Anyway, you guys better give me and my show a good review. I don't want to hear nothing about Vic or my brothers or none of that. In Gotham, you gotta do's what you gotta do's. I feel bad about what I did. Vic was like a father to me. Miguel, please stop interrupting me. Anywho's, you three are all invited down to my club. I'll treat you like one of my own brothers. 'Cause in the club, we all fail. Okay, that's enough. I gotta waddle on out of here. I gotta go get kidnapped again for the millionth fucking time. Enjoy reviewing my show. Gabagoo.
Wow, the Penguin himself, can you believe it? Came to our podcast to talk about himself.
I think Gabagool has to be our new sign-off.
Yeah.
Gabagool!
But keep it gabacool, okay?
Okay, now we have all the pressure of the Penguin on us to give a good review. I'm gonna go first. How about this? I never go first. I'm just too excited. I've been meaning to get on this podcast. I've been trying to talk to everyone about this. The Penguin. This is a series that I was like, why are we doing this? I have no idea. But once again, I was wrong. Every time I watched the first episode, I was like, okay, here we go. I don't know how I feel about this like mentor-mentee type of relationship. I feel like I've seen it a lot. Whatever, it's a trope. But as this show kept going on and on and on, I kept loving it more and more and more. And by the end of this thing, I was waiting if it was going to land for the finale. And for me, guys, it did. I had a great time with this series. And I'll even go as far as saying that I enjoyed this more than the Batman. I would watch this.
I saw that coming a miles away. You talked so much shit about the Batman.
I did. Okay, I did. I recently rewatched it again. It was the first time in a long time. But no, I needed to make sure. I needed to rewatch it to make sure if my opinion still stands. And yes, it does. I think there's just way more interesting characters. I think there's a lot more of a variety of tone. I love the storytelling. I love the performances. I mean, from Colin Farrell to Cristin Milioti to Vic to his mom, all super great actors performing in very different ways compared to the Batman, where I feel like everyone was doing the exact same tone. Here, everybody had different colors. And that's my first initial reaction. I don't want to say too much. We can get more into it. But everyone else, Erik, what did you think? You worked on it. Now that you've seen it on your side, what was your experience with the Penguin?
I'm gonna just go out and say that I think I might have had the pleasure of working on one of the better comic book shows in a super long time. I mean,
yes, sir.
I think since Watchmen, I think maybe Watchmen is the last one that made me this hyped. As far as like comic book TV shows. I'm not sure if Andor counts, but we'll
throw it in there because that is like a property.
It's
like
of the same essence,
like in that
of
a property,
the expanded universe, etc.
Yeah.
Right. No, first impression. So I think the finale. I think that episode, the way they structured that episode.
The structure really is king.
Except, I mean, there was a little bit of. What the Penguin himself just said, like, how many times is this guy going to get kidnapped? Like, oh my god, But I think we'll go further into it. But I definitely have more to say. But first impressions, very good, very good.
All right, Miguel.
I think this is a good mix because I'm gonna kind of lean towards Luis a little bit and say I didn't love the Batman as much as I wanted to. On initial viewings, plural. Okay, every time I've tried to watch this movie, I feel like I stop at a certain point and I go, okay, I don't have to watch it. But as the show has been going on, I had a chance recently to watch the movie again, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna really like dedicate some time to watch this. And I was surprised at how much, like, in retrospect, I liked the movie based on what the choices they were making on the show. I felt like, the Penguin, I said this kind of in our text chat, but like in the movie, it just seemed like they have such a really clear vision of what the Penguin was. And the showrunners were able to pull the like 3 or 4 things, the 3 or 4 threads from the movie and just expand them into this like really in-depth character. So I just, it's made me go back and really appreciate that movie a little bit more. But I enjoyed the show just like everyone else. 10 out of 10. I couldn't believe some publications were saying it was a shitty show, but I just
they gave the season a certain low view, and then the other episodes came out and they gave it a higher view multiple times, and then I'm like, well, why does that make sense if you're giving each episode higher views, but overall
something's
when you
in the
binge
air?
It's worse. Yeah, no,
I don't know. When you pre-watch something, maybe you feel a certain way. No, I've had a great time. I thought every character was really great. I do think there is a little bit of it that's like, oh, this is a television show, and you can kind of like pinpoint some like Colin Farrell is a movie actor, right? And they put all the prosthetics on him, and he just kind of like elevated this character for a television show. There were some other characters who came in and they surprised me. Sofia Falcone was amazing. And she kind of came into this like, I can bring it up a notch, and now I'm like, let me see her in the movie a little bit more.
Yeah.
There were other characters that I'm like, you are definitely TV actors, but you're good TV actors. Like you come in and you know how to play this role. So it just kind of felt like this multi-layered, tiered performance that really just captured what I needed to see. I had a really great time.
I think, the story and the performances really help elevate it more. So yes, it does at moments feel TV-esque, but all of that helps lift it up more. And to kind of go off what you're saying, like looking at the Batman now, to me, I'm like, oh, now I want to look at this other extra content that's based off the Penguin, because the Penguin is so like in the forefront now.
I hate that style of storytelling. That like Marvel's been doing it for a while now with the whole movies and TV shows Disney Plus thing. And I'm just like, I don't normally subscribe to that. But to Eric's point, like The Watchmen was really good as a TV show. It came way after the fact, and they were like, how do we acknowledge what came before and evolve it into this medium?
And keep it to its own thing. Like you could really watch the Penguin without having to watch the Batman.
Yes, and I think that's what they did here. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But let's throw it to the man of the hour, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Eric, I know you're the guest, but really, Ed is who we're here to hear.
Wait, why am I the man of the hour?
No, let's go. No, the big Batman himself.
Well, yeah, it does sound like I am going to be vengeance. I definitely enjoyed the show. I feel like I was surprised when I did see any negative reviews. It seems such like a consistent, true to the for those who did or did not like the Batman, it was true to the tone that it established.
Yep.
Even though it did feel like kind of TV at times, but overall, I felt like the world, the characters, the style, the gritty, but also the pulpy comic bookness of it all rang true. It kind of like, again with the Batman, it reminded me a lot of like The Long Halloween, where you go off onto these different tangents, if you will, but like of one big crime story, the sprawling crime saga, but it's just like you're going through all the characters that build up to this grand like crescendo, hopefully, that is going to be like Batman Part 2. But my any kind of hang-ups I have about the show, we've already kind of mentioned it, so I won't like bury it, but there is like a slight repetition throughout the entire season. Like episode 1 or 2, the Penguin it was episode 2, he gets caught and gets out of it, kind of thing, and that seems to be like a familiar beat throughout, and that's fine. What I'm super grateful for, and this is probably like the biggest win for me with this show, is that, and what I was really afraid of, was that they didn't turn him into like an anti-hero.
Yes.
Which is such a trait with like villain origin stories, or whenever people feel the need to fill that void of who is this person? Anakin Skywalker, Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, Boba Fett. Like, Jesus Christ, the dumbest fucking...
If you look at the behind the
how could they?
If you look at the behind the scenes of the when they made the book of Boba Fett, people were like, well, we can't make him bad because then people won't connect with him. And it's just like they instantly made him into like, I'm a good guy now. And it's like, no, that's not how you do it.
That's not who he is.
This is probably the best way of showcasing like a villain I think we've seen, The
fun thing about villains, the only thing that make people attracted to villains is that they are not friendly or relatable. You don't want to just be like, oh, well, he just had a tough childhood. No, fuck that shit. No. That kid was a psychopath, and he grew up to be a psychopath.
And that's a little demon. That's what it
was. A little demon. I love you.
That's what worked. I think that, like, it was late into the show, because I don't know if you guys, but like he was quoted very early on in the production or before the show came out oh, if you like him by the end, no, I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, by the end of the show, like you'll know that you don't like
he's
him.
He's going to be despicable. He's done,
exactly.
yeah.
But I really liked that they really hit that in the flashback childhood. Like it was him as a kid where you were like, oh, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
And that's what, then you like look forward to all the decisions he's made prior and like to the present. You're like, oh, this is like trauma all the way from your childhood that you've carried forward. Like you are the same person that you were 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're still shitty, you know?
Yeah.
Every time he betrayed someone, you were like, oh, I see why that's like your core thought process.
Oh, he's like, he's a liar, he's a manipulator, gaslighter, just like, and especially in this episode where he's just gaslighting his mother about killing his brothers.
Oh,
dude, can we? Oh my god, I love that moment. Because I was waiting on my seat, like, just say, he's gonna say it. Is he not gonna say it? He's not gonna say it. Is he gonna say it? And he doesn't fucking say it. And out of so many stories,
what a piece of shit.
Yeah. And out of all their story, I feel like it is so like, okay, here's the part, we're at the end of the episode and the season. He's finally going to admit what he did wrong, and he doesn't. And I love that commitment to that,
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's a lie that he tells himself that he believes from now on. He's like, there's no way he can utter it.
He is so committed to it. He's got his escort friend pretending to be his mother, telling him that she's proud of him, like, because he didn't get that from his mum after having a stroke. And that's all he was like. It was like, I'll still put you in that penthouse. You're not going to be able to enjoy it, but I'm going to roll you up there all the same.
That was a whole moment. I
apologize. I'm jumping around, but
there's so much to the show. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. It was but like this episode really like dug deep into, like, it really brought it that kind of building sense of like, where is this going to go? Yeah, like, is he going to confess to that? Like, is there going to be another revelation? I sincerely thought that we were basically going to see the origin story of that, like, massive scar across his face. And I don't know if that's still implied. Maybe I missed that.
I'm glad they didn't.
If that was something, I think it would have maybe just been like, it's like the origin of Scar in The Lion King kind of thing. It's like he ended up getting that scar, folks, and now he looks like the Penguin. But no, it was like, it kept it at a level, but it was just unexpected that they committed to, not only making a child look like a piece of shit, and that child actually doing a good job of it, by the way. I don't know that actor's name, but I thought the two of them back to back, just like it could be like, it's like such a fine line. It's almost corny, but like it just works kind of. I
think it works simply because of like the darkness that's behind it. Right?
Yeah,
like
the darkness, and also like you gotta. It's like it is like that long ago. Like people spoke differently at a certain time, and they obviously grew up in that kind of neighborhood. It's just like, oh yeah, the fucking 1930s crime guy. We watched a lot of Fred Astaire and shit like that.
Hang on. If you're gonna say that, I think that was such a really great, like, justification for how the Penguin dresses and acts in the future. This is childhood trauma that he is carrying forward. And he had this moment as a kid where I want to pick this movie, and she's like, I know what movie you're gonna pick. And then it's like this Singing in the Rain type movie with the top hats and the dancing, and you're like, oh, you're making this like choice as a production to
your
be like,
reality.
This is how this character has formed this, like, because we all grow up, right? We're all like young kids that we idolize some future that we could become. And he saw this like thing from the past. He doesn't have a father figure, which is a theme that we see in the last couple episodes. And this is kind of like how he envisions his grown-up self. Oh man!
But it also stems from his mother's approval, just like everything else. Like he tells her in the hospital, he says like, it was all for you. He watches that because he thinks that's what she wants to watch. because he even says that in the restaurant when he's a kid. He's just like, I know when you have a drink when you're sad, or you have a smoke when you're stressed, or whatever. You know, he goes on that little thing that kind of just like basically saves his life. He's such a smooth talker. He knows how to cut to the core of people. Yeah. And what she realizes is like he's still her son despite this horrible thing. And it's because he does. I mean, he fucking adores that woman. He like has her on such a pedestal because maybe she just never gave him that kind of approval, and that's what he's sought after. That's why he got rid of his brothers. That's why he watched her favorite movie. That's why he wanted to go to those clubs, because be a part of that world.
That is such like a young boy's mentality, right? I idolize this person who gave me life.
Yeah.
And then it's something about the older, you know, he becomes Oswald Cobb in the future, but he holds on to that, like, oh, this ideal person I want to be.
Right. He's more pissed. He's more upset that his mother had a stroke because he can't prove that
he can't fix it.
It's not like he just wants to show her that he got on top and he won.
Yeah,
that's it. It's not like he feels bad for her that she's sick. He didn't really care that she was sick in the first place because he wanted her to be around to see his success.
That was. Do you think if she was there when he succeeded? Do you think if she was there when he succeeded and like saw all the stuff and like said, "I'm proud of you,"
hadn't had a stroke after all of that?
Then he would have let her die.
Yo, that's a good question. Right? That's a great. Because he
quite possibly, because I think maybe so, that's all he needed.
That's
just as much as he got out of Victor, which we haven't talked about yet. But it's, I think he uses people for what they're worth and moves on.
The thing with the Penguin is he's grown up and living a life where love is very transactional. Where it's like, I have to do this for you, and if I do this for you, then you'll get something in return. Yeah. And the same thing with his mom.
He feels like he's owed.
Yeah, or I'm owing someone because it's like, hey, mom, I love you so much. And he's like, you're good for nothing. You said I was going to get this and this and this. And so he's learning from all that. It's like, oh, I have to do things for people. Even the person he loves the most, is a paid, person, and they have to, and he kind of pays for her time. So everything that he's doing is very transactional, with the exception of Vic, which ended up taking a very...
And that was his one moment to be like a true human, right? Like,
and you see those moments when he's like, when Vic does kill that one guy, and he has that nice moment where he's like, nice, but you know what I mean? To them, it's nice. Where he's like,
the
hey,
half step.
It gets easier. It's like, and that kind of leaning forward is very fatherly to him, to be like, hey, dude, it gets and there's a love going on,
It's a half step before that too, when they're at the restaurant and he stutters at the waiter. Waiter. And he's like, he says, hey, you don't speak for him. You let him finish because he understands what that means. And then when Vic has to make that moment, that choice to kill the drug dealer, he's like, and you did what you had to do. I'm paraphrasing, but you did what you had to do. Because when Vic had to do that, I was like, bro, step up. You know what you have to do. It sucks. It sucks.
Think we all did.
You made the choice.
But get it done. If you're going to abandon this life and choose this one, you got to make those choices. But that was empowered by Penguin being like, hey, you let him be who he is,
Yeah,
I think a lot of him defending Vic, it feigns protectionism, it feigns fatherhood, but I think what it really is I think he sees Vic as a younger version of himself,
of who he is,
and he does not want anyone to step on himself. And then even further, I think when he kills Vic, I think he's leaving behind his
past.
It's another piece. Yeah.
Oh,
1,000%.
What a great moment.
And
I just,
and the moment where he says, he's like, oh, you're like, I think there was a conversation about
when he was
stuttering with the fa. It could have gone family, could have been father, but either way, when he said it, you see Colin Farrell as the Penguin. Take that in, make a decision. I have to kill him now, because if he didn't say I was family, then now he's a weakness that I would have had, that he experienced. And so it's like the whole time they're trying to become family. And then at the very end, when they finally achieve it, it's like, okay, well, I can't be that person anymore.
This was one of the whole
The whole time he's still lying to Victor too about just even the smaller details, like why are you bleeding? Oh, Sophia killed me or stabbed me. Sorry, and it's like, what happened to your mother? Oh, Sophia fucked her up.
Yes.
It's like,
oh man, even through to the end, I'm not going to tell you the truth.
Defiant to the end. Like he has created
who he is.
To a T. And I was just like, and you're watching in utter disbelief the whole time. You're just like, man, like, because we are as TV viewers and movie viewers, we're so used to that catharsis at the end of it. And the fact to not, and it is like, I know a lot of comparisons have already been made to like The Sopranos, but it is very much like that. He's like this sociopath who just functions in his own little.
Let me say, two things building off of that, because thank you. Two things. One thing, I think, let me just say the structure and the way they were able to create character point of views and perspectives and characteristics was so good that you have the Penguin who is always lying. He's lying to himself, and then you have Sophia, another amazing character who went through so much trauma and change that was kind of society putting on her. She is a truth seeker. Everything she's doing is like, what is like the
shedding
truth?
Those lies.
Shedding the lies. Bitch, what is the truth? You better stand up for me. And they don't. And so she is fighting for it while the Penguin kind of fights against it. And it's just like, those are two perfectly like, I don't know, protagonists, antagonists going at each other. And that's just speaking to like the structure of the storytelling and how at the very end, it's like, they did the perfect balance of like, it's a happy ending for some, but it's also not a happy ending. Or it's like, they're alive, but it was the worst way to be alive. They executed that middle ground, the two ways of executing it really well. I don't know.
Yeah, the two women that he should have killed, he kept alive in the worst way.
Yes. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. I can tell you, like, reading like, I don't even while we were making the show, like in the beginning of the show, we actually, so I told Miguel this, I don't know if I told everyone else, but like the way we filmed it, initially it was supposed to be Vic's backstory was supposed to be the opening of the show.
Oh wow!
And the flood and everything hitting his house was supposed to be initially the beginning, and so we filmed all that stuff first.
Like structurally,
exactly.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like it seemed kind of ho hum the whole thing at the beginning, and then when I got the script I forgot episode 5 or something, when we find out like he killed his little brothers, like that's when stuff started really, like, you could feel it on the set. It was like, oh, this is gonna be crazy. And then so when everyone was saying like, oh, Vic's gonna survive or Vic's gonna die, or they're gonna make Oswald likable. In my head, I was like, "Bro, he is not gonna be likable. It's gonna be crazy."
And I feel like that was something that, just as a viewer after the show started, was they were like, Penguin was like, "Oh, Colin Farrell was like, you're gonna hate this character by the end of it," and I was like, "Oh, Vic's gonna die." But then as the show went on, I was like, well, hang on, maybe he's not going to die. Maybe it's going to be something else. And like, I was like pulled into it. Like, no, of course, no, it's going to go a different way. And then when it happens, you're just like, fuck, I can't believe this is how this is.
Can I ask, did everybody feel like he was going to die? I'll say I did.
I did.
I made the call. that he was going to die. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I didn't want it. I wanted it to be the twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got into a twist, right? Because everyone knew. That's what this show does so well, is that it does everything what's going to happen, and it happens. But they do it in such a way that it makes you.
It's still shocking when it happens.
Yes, second guess, exactly.
Yeah. And again, credit to Colin Farrell. He's such that smooth talker. He gets everybody on his side on every level. He gets the gangs on his side. He gets Sophia on his side. He gets the fucking he's not the attorney guy. He's smooth talking, like the guy at the court
to turn the lights on and to turn the power on.
Whatever.
To turn the power on.
Yeah.
Or councilman. Sorry.
Councilman. Sorry. Yeah.
But yeah, he manages to coax people into his plot every step of the way. And rewatching the Batman, I was like, he even kind of like convinced the Batman at one point. You know what I mean? It was just like, hey, I'm just a fucking proprietor.
And then he shows him the photos and he's like, who's that? Oh, I don't know. He gaslights him immediately.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like in the show, it was 2 moments that I was like, oh, I see where we're going. It was very early on. He told Vic, like, I'm going to kill you. And Vic was like, no, don't kill me. And so then the next episode, he's like, I'm going to give you a mission. And then he fucks up that mission. And then at the end of that episode, he throws him into the grave. Do you remember that? Like, he digs the grave. He kicks him in and he says, hey, just remember, I'll fucking kill you. And I feel like that was them telling us, like, hey, watch out for this. But it was also when he, like, teamed up with Sofia, there was, like, a moment where you were like, hell yeah, these two are going to click up. They are going to run the underworld.
Because they're underdogs. Then, this is an underdog story from both sides.
When he gives the whole backstory about dancing with his mom, and then at the end of that episode, he goes, Sofia, let's dance, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, man, what a great line. And then at the end of that episode or the beginning of the next one, right, like they get caught up in the whole triad. And he's like, no, I'll fuck her. She's gonna.
It's the end of the episode, yeah.
And then that's when she learns, like, no, he's willing to like give up anyone.
Yeah,
that was the moment that I was like, oh fuck, Vic's gonna die. Okay, like of everyone in the show, she may die too. That's what I thought. She may die too. Vic is 100% gonna die.
You know what's great about that scene is like I genuinely believe that when the Penguin was saying that, when Oswald was saying that to her, I think with the way that Colin played it, he really believed what he was saying. Like he was lying to himself, but believing it as well.
But isn't that just kind of the thing, though? He believes.
Yeah.
He's so good because he believes.
He convinces himself.
He convinces himself, and he's just like, we are together. We are going to rise up.
He's such a good liar.
Yeah,
because they could have teamed up and taken over all of Gotham, and he kind of would have gone along with that. But the moment she was not beneficial to him or useful,
once he was in danger, he left her.
Oh
yeah.
Let's go a different direction, you know?
Yeah, he's like, fuck her, go.
We're talking about Sofia. You know, we were talking about the Penguin for a long time. What are our thoughts about Sofia? Let's talk about her now, because I feel like she is a phenomenal character that really got me to enjoy the show even more. She's such a tragic character. The show is such a tragedy.
Yeah.
And I just like, this got me locked in the way
I do. Yeah. Let me just like spin off to that just real quick. Ed, I feel like I want to talk to you. Okay.
Yeah.
You read The Long Halloween. You were very like kind of like in tune to the beats of this story. You seem to be kind of hesitant towards her at the beginning of the show or at her casting, right?
Yes, I was.
Can you just like explain to me what were you hesitant about and how did you feel as we went on?
My idea, just from the comics, which I can say right now, like the Batman. I mean, all comic book movies are influenced by all of the material everywhere, but I don't think that it's derivative from The Long Halloween, the Batman, or this show. But the storytelling, the structure, the amount of characters moving all at once, like The Long Halloween, like what I love about The Long Halloween is like you've got all of these characters in the world. It covers the whole universe.
Yeah,
within instead of like it's the Batman and one villain kind of thing,
right?
And so, and one of those characters, of course, is Sofia. And in the comic book, she is this kind of like big, foreboding character who
she's like physically big, right?
Physically,
she's different.
And can hold her own. And then, just like scary, like intimidating. Yes. Like she's not afraid of anybody. She's not afraid of like the Batman. Even she like goes toe to toe with him in a fight, kind of thing. And that's on me. You know, in my mental space of who that character was, and I know, whatever. We're in today's world. I'm open to whatever. So it just seemed, if anything, maybe it just felt a little generic, her casting at first. Not that I have a problem with Cristin Milioti. Is that how you say it? Milioti? Yeah. I like her, generally speaking. Like, I don't think I've seen anything I don't like her in. But I was like a little unsure, especially when you got such a big character like Colin Farrell doing the Penguin kind of thing.
She went toe to toe with him.
I 100% agree. I think she was really good. She made the character super intriguing, super tragic, like you say, Luis, but like fierce. She was she was on her truth journey, which was ultimately her demise too. But I also knew like she was too big of a character that they would have just killed her off in this show. Mm-hmm. Like, she will come back. I love that they've alluded to Selena Kyle, because again, that's just like, that's more about like universal, like these are all the characters intermingling. Even though Batman isn't there, he's not the main focus of the story. You could have just called this Gotham, which I know, yes, there is a Gotham show, but like, you know what I mean? It's just like you're meeting all of these characters. You're going through the crime ring of the world, like of the underworld. After the events of the Batman. So it's just the way that it intermingles. I love it. To answer your question, Miguel, I did like Cristin Milioti. I look forward to seeing her come back and engage with the Batman. I think that...
And Selena Kyle.
Whoever else in Arkham. I just thought that it just rang true to the character that she would go back to Arkham. I wasn't like disappointed by that development. If anything, like, I was just like, yes, like
it makes sense thematically to like for her to lose. She has to go back to the place that she hates the most, and they set it up perfectly.
Best moments throughout this whole season, and one thing that did make me laugh is like throughout this one episode alone, she had at least 4 costume changes, maybe 3.
Fuck it,
she's
a queen. Who gives a fuck?
The wardrobe.
Leonard.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god! Just like the progression was just wild. I loved it.
Yeah. Eric, let me ask you this: Did you feel that presence like on set? Or did you feel like, oh shit, this is working? Or did you see that as a viewer, like, oh, I can't believe the way they framed this?
So I thought more as a viewer. On set, it's a whole other kind of world. It's a kind of a circus environment. Cristin Milioti is a very fun person. She's very nice. She smiles all the time. She gets along with the crew very well. So I didn't really expect her performance, even though I was standing right there when she delivered it. It's a different thing to have it be on the camera, Mm-hmm. And so, and same with Colin Farrell. I mean, he also would just be joking around, having fun with the props people and stuff, and then he would just deliver these crazy bangers, And
was he doing the voice the whole time on set? Just out of curiosity.
No, he was Irish in between.
He was always in costume, though, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Because it took 5 hours to get in.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard a story.
Like 4 or 5. Yeah.
I had an interview with him where he came out without the sleeves or without a jacket. He came out without a jacket, and they had like these puffy sleeves. And somebody on set was like, "Oh, that's how he looks without it on." And he was like struck to the core. He's like, "Well, I'm never going back out again without the fucking suit," because he was very protective about the Penguin. He was like, "I don't want anyone to see Colin," like to the point where when they did the table read. He didn't show up as Colin Farrell. He put on a fucking ski mask and did the character, so no one would ever see Colin doing the Penguin.
They wanted to see the character.
You can never see Colin being the Penguin. It's always the character. So he really, like, from my understanding of hearing him talk about it, is he was very protective about Oswald.
Eric, awesome, just real quick, say one bad thing about Colin Farrell.
No.
Oh man,
wasn't like the set super cold? Wasn't the set super cold to keep him?
Yeah, exactly. That's what bothered me the most because of his prosthetics. The set had to be super cold, and I got strep throat multiple times.
Really?
Because of it.
It's funny that you got sick. Just funny that.
It's hilarious. Did you get strep throat and then start limping? You were like,
no, he had his own tent. He had like a cool tent from what I heard. Like he would like act and then run into this cold ass tent to like to survive. And he apparently he was. I'm just spilling facts. Apparently he doesn't like eat on set either. He like snacks a little bit, but he's just like, I don't like to act on a full stomach. And I was like, all right.
I didn't know that, but that's true. I never saw him. Yeah.
I can't wait to see Sophia in the Batman 2. I can't honestly like just make this a Penguin trilogy. Like I'm so excited to see him back. Like
he's already he already said he's coming back for Batman 2 and 3.
Really?
He would have to.
Yeah. Make it a Penguin trilogy. That's what I want to see. Penguin and Batman.
One of the things that I read was like, you know what? We have all of these. First off, Batman has a phenomenal rogue gallery.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
Like,
one of the best.
They're all so good.
Exactly.
And and if Colin Farrell is going to commit to this character and he come back for 3 or 4, like imagine Cillian Murphy came back for Scarecrow in all those Nolan movies. Like if he wanted to be that type of character for this franchise, I think as an audience member, we would be well served. And I'm going to say this one more time. Jonah Hill would never. Okay. Like Jonah Hill was supposed to be the Penguin. That's what they offered him. And I think he would have done the movie, you know? But he never would have done, out of respect, okay? Like, I think he's a great actor.
He's just not that actor.
He just never would have done this.
No, dude.
And I think we are so much better off the fact that Colin Farrell was like, I will.
He's doing it because he relishes the role. He is enjoying where it's taking, or where he's able to take it. Whereas I feel like Jonah Hill would have enjoyed it as a, I did that.
Yeah.
But I'm good.
I just think like you can think of the Jonah Hill roles that they were like, I think we want you to be the Penguin, and he would have done that.
But it still would have been Jonah Hilly, where like here it's like my brain's like, wait, that is Colin Farrell, right?
Who?
Yeah, I mean you can see it, but still like I'm gonna say it here, like Heath Ledger's Joker, Colin Farrell's Penguin, the best. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like
10,000%.
They are outside of themselves as the actors, and they really invest themselves, and they do such a good job of capturing these people in a modern sense that I'm such a huge fan now of the Penguin. Do we want to talk about Vic for a little bit, or
I did want to talk about Vic for a little bit because I mean he did not deserve that. I mean, dude, he got choked to death. Dude. He got like,
bro, you're choking,
man. Oh god, it was so bad. It was.
I would say one of those moments that, like I said earlier, like I was like, oh, he's gonna die. That's not what I thought was gonna happen. Okay, like that was a brutally like emotional moment.
Cold.
And and we said it a second ago, but like the way he was like, you're my family, and he was like, I can't take you on this one.
I can't take you on this one. Yeah.
Both of them were acknowledging.
I was like, oh, there it is. We're done.
They were both acknowledging platitudes as to where they were. And Penguin was just like, I'm a little bit up here, you know?
Well, it's not just that. It's like, I already suffered a lot with my mom being as a weakness. You know what I mean? They're able to use that against me. I can never, ever have that happen to me again. That was such a shitty situation.
The symbolism also about his family being swallowed up by that flood. And then after he chokes him, he takes his ID and he throws him in the water.
Bro, let me add. Okay, I didn't think about that, but let me add on to that a little bit more. Just watching the Batman, what's it called? Falcone. He murdered everybody by choking them and hanging them or whatever, you know? And the Penguin did the exact same thing. Like, hey, I'm stepping up into that role. Choking him out, and, dude. I didn't even think about throwing his thing into the water. That's so good. That he's
but even
also
one more thing that I think is even I can even add that to one. I can even add one more thing to that is that I think it's just so he will always be Oswald. He will always be this low level fuck. No matter how high he gets, he will always have this like dog mentality because he took the money out of his wallet. I'm like,
I know,
bro. Can you imagine Salvatore Falcone? Salvatore Maroni or
because money doesn't matter at that point.
Exactly, but he sits there.
Money doesn't matter at this point.
But it's a few extra bucks in his pocket. Yeah.
He will always refer to that. He will
because
always,
if you think about it, and again, they were so good about referencing all these moments in like the first or second episode. He was like, "Oh, I would go to the soda shop and I would like do a suicide." You know what I mean? Like, it's these like minute, like poor person things that were so big to him.
Yeah,
he's not going to let a wallet go to waste. I don't care how big. I drive a Rolls Royce now. Let me get those couple dollars.
When Sofia goes into his apartment, he's like, "Oh, that's kind of tacky." When she turns to push the button, but
that's what he sees.
But to Vic, he's like, Vic brings his girlfriend, and he's like, "Wow, what a nice place." You know?
She's like, "Your boss lets you do this?" He's like, "Kind of."
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hadn't thought about it.
I think it's funny. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. This might have been hanging up. I mean, the fact that yes, Victor's death is more brutal, more personal, but he also like burned a mother and her son alive right in front of him.
It is a little more mercy compared to others, right?
Yeah, I mean,
he was apologizing too. He's like, "Listen, I'm sorry." You know,
you're a good man. Vic.
Like
in his last breath, he said that you're a good man. He at least kind of gave him that a little bit.
He led the entire last 2 episodes. He was like, "You guys are my army. I wouldn't want anyone else." And then they got blown the fuck up.
Oh, he ran away first. He didn't say
he didn't say everyone duck.
Yeah,
cover. You know, he ran away. But with Vic, he sat down on that bench and was just like, you know what? Life's hard.
I'm gonna have to kill this motherfucker.
He's like, hey, lean in, you know.
Lean in. Such a good way.
So.
I gotta.
So now next.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna take it to the next thing. You go ahead.
I was gonna take it to the end. So don't.
I was gonna say. So now next, right? You have. I think Link is the new Vic. It looks like. It looks like Link is taking his spot. It looks like all the lieutenants killed all of the generals. Man. Right?
Because I love that scene where
I forgot about that. He checks in. He's like, "Oh man."
Yeah,
now Selena and Sofia are gonna
renounce him. Yeah, I do. Like that, it was really nice.
And he'll ride with Penguin because he's like, "I'll kill whoever. I don't give a fuck."
And funny enough, it's Vic who told him that. He's like, "Hey, Link got your back." You know what I mean? And so he used that for him.
That's that no honor among thieves, and some of them had to learn that lesson.
Let's bring it to Sofia, because I do have a question. Dr. Julian Rush.
Ooh, let's talk about
what that. Okay, so that slime ball just found himself. He took his role back.
So horny.
Do you think that was purely for Sofia? And what's his end game? Like, where do you guys think he's going to play in the grander scheme?
He's like Harley Quinn. You know what I mean? It felt like very much like falls in love with this person.
Pocket.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of in the way that Joker 2, Folie à Deux, played with the whole Harley Quinn Joker thing. I'm not being silly. The way that they play, you fucks. The way that they played with that. The way they played with that dynamic of that, right? Like in that movie, she was the more she pushed,
forward.
Yeah. That's kind of his role here. He's kind of like the Harley Quinn of this story.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like
he just kind of wants
Sophia's
to watch
the Joker.
He wants to watch her go crazy and kind of be dominated by her.
The one loose end is Eve, and he doesn't know that Eve knows. He doesn't know that what she found out from Sofia, and so Eve is there hugging and kissing him at the end. But I think she might be. I don't know. Is that the next protagonist? Is that the next? I mean, antagonist. Is that the next? I don't know. Because like obviously there's going to be something big for her. She can't just be. She has something planned. I don't think she would have even said yes to go back to him unless she had something planned. Like, I don't think she's necessarily on his side. I think that what Sofia told her enlightened her.
I think she was afraid.
Yeah. She was definitely afraid. Oh my god, it was such a good scene between Eve and Sofia.
And that's what I love. I mean, the closing scene where he comes back to the penthouse. That whole sequence is almost like the most unsettling thing, because you're glimpsing and like he's by himself, and you're really kind of glimpsing into what it's his reality. He's moved his, vegetated mother into the penthouse room for no reason other than he had always promised her, and that was his idea of success, only to go next door to a woman he's paying to tell him that she's proud of him, she loves him, all the things that we know aren't true. She tried to sell him out to Sofia and stuff like that. On top of that, he's on top of the world of this kind of like rundown, shabby mansion.
It's dingy penthouse, right? It's a poor man's version of what rich is, right?
Yeah, exactly. And who the fuck wears like a tailcoat anymore? You know what I mean? So
but that's part of the story too, because his influences in the beginning.
He's basing it on his influences, but like everybody else would look at that as just like, oh, okay, that's a joke. Like, I'm a little disappointed he never put the top hat on. I mean,
I heard that they purposely did that. They didn't want to go full comic booky with that. They were like, we're going to give you this.
Yeah. No monocle or anything like that.
Exactly. No monocle. They showed the umbrella, you know what I mean, for a little bit. And that was it. Guys, do you have any thoughts about Penguin's mother? She was a huge force and something like of a new addition to kind of this story. We never knew about Penguin's mom or what it was going through, but I felt like
sorry, her name is Deirdre O'Connell, the actress.
Yes.
Yeah. Dee Dee, if you're friends with her, you know what I mean? I know that they call her.
I was going to say Dre. So
just like I call Elizabeth Olsen Lizzie in this podcast. She's my friend Lizzie, so I call her Dee Dee.
Right.
So Dee Dee plays the Penguin's mom. No, she was great. I think that was the part that humanized the Penguin. Like, listen, the Penguin is still an asshole, but we have his mom who kind of helps humanize him. Yeah.
But also she gives the audience that like leeway to be like, no, you're bad. At that,
she was like, I fucking hate you. Remember,
like, you're a fucking asshole. And that's when you're like, you know what? He is a fucking asshole. Oh, actually, can I?
You're a monster.
Let me take a half step back for a second. In that one scene where the mom, that whole back and forth, they're yelling at each other, the guns go off. He runs up to her and he like fireman throws her over his shoulder and carries her out.
Yeah.
He went like they went from like sitting to the next shot. He was like, whoosh, I got you over my shoulder. And I was like, I don't know if I buy that. I don't know.
I do exactly. Like it was, and again,
that
was
a little bit.
If only, like, if he hadn't like gotten away several times prior, I would have like bought into it a little bit more. But it was just like, I just think like,
I think each of us could pick up 50 pounds right now. I think if we had to pick up 50 pounds and throw us over our shoulders, but let's go 100 more pounds.
I guess you have adrenaline. Like the man was trying to break out of the chair. Like he's running on. This is the one thing he fucking cares about. So he's
Ma! Oh my god! Have you? Okay. One thing that, and I haven't like been able to shake it. I've been like waking up and saying "Ma," but like you guys watch fucking Babe. You guys seen Babe the pig?
Yeah.
Okay, like he has like an adoptive mother. He calls Ma. No, there's a sheep he calls Ma, and when Ma gets killed, he's like Ma, Ma, and I'm just like all I could hear by this last episode was fucking Babe screaming Ma, and like god damn it, Colin Farrell says Ma a lot in this one episode. Ma, yeah. What's wrong with her, Ma?
The next Construct Nerd YouTube is going to be just all Colin Farrell's Ma.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I do a supercut of all the Ma's.
Yeah. You should.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might just be, but like everybody just doesn't want to watch it. But that was a little jarring. But the scene worked very well.
She's great.
No, I think she was a great actress. I think she really. The casting, got her time at the end there.
Yeah, the casting of the younger version of her. I know she didn't get as much screen time.
All of them.
Yeah,
I love
true.
that they did that. I love that you just see her through the mirror and then you continue on with her performing. I was appreciative of that.
At that point, it was already her like physical, mental state. If you if you had to obviously they're like seeing the story through her, but I feel like that reflected also just like her mourning during that period too.
Yeah,
just like she was a broken woman from that point on.
Yeah. In the script, just to clarify something, in the script, he does have some kind of, I don't know what you would call it, but he does possess some kind of superhuman strength. He is much stronger. Yeah, he is much stronger than the normal person, which makes me think about the situation. Fight. Yeah, exactly. So like how he broke out of those restraints, he picked up in the very first scene, how he picked up Alberto Falcone's body and just like walked around with it. I think it is supposed to be. I'm not sure if it's
a subtle.
Let's see him. So in the script, let's see him in Batman 2.
Extraordinary strength. Yeah,
I want to see him fist fight Batman. You know,
I cannot wait.
Yeah,
I hope to God. And also, can we clear something up real quick, Eric? Did you like the Batman?
Me?
Yeah.
It was forgettable. I mean, I think I had a good time, but I don't think I ever thought about it again afterwards. I'm sorry.
Dang.
I don't think I thought about it one time.
Dang.
I mean, that's funny because I was actually reaching out to these guys about certain points. I was like, wait, did this happen in the movie? Because I didn't remember. Listen, I feel like everyone's playing the same tone. Like it just felt so, and it was giving me information like, yeah, I already knew that about the Batman. Like Gotham's tough. Oh, we gotta fix it. I feel it's like I know this information. Everyone's playing the exact same role.
I mean, Ed, come back. I liked a little bit of it. I mean, come on. I liked the Penguin in Batmobile. Yeah,
the Batmobile was great.
The fights were good. I mean,
I did notice
like Ave Maria.
At all since
moving swiftly on.
Okay. Well, the soundtrack was good. The score.
Yeah.
But
the penguin scenes are great.
Come on.
The type of,
why are you showing me that?
The type of therapy that Julian Rush employs.
Yes.
So that's like a real kind of therapy. I think it's called EMDR.
EMDR.
Therapy.
Actually, I'll be vulnerable as fuck. I'll be vulnerable as fuck. I do EMDR actually. And so okay. And it's you can do different forms of it. You can do visual like that. You can do ears, which is what I prefer. You can do tapping. You can do vibrating balls if you want. It'll go back left and right. And so all it does, it's able
Miguel's
to.
Favorite.
Yeah, it's your favorite. All it does is it processes like emotions, and so you just kind of you go back and you just feel things, and so you have in therapy top to bottom and bottom to top, and so normal therapy that is top to bottom. It's like, okay, let me talk about it, let me think about it. This is my therapy. This is what's going on. This is what I'm going through, and it informs to your body. But sometimes your brain is just like it can't understand all the nuances in the subconscious. So you have to treat the body first. And so that's what EMDR does is that by looking left to right or by hearing left to right or by feeling left to right, your body is able to process it. Even if your mind doesn't understand what's going on, physically, you're able to feel the stressors on your neck, on your body, the heat, the temperature. And that's almost like a conduit of a way to like, okay, this is stored trauma that I have in my body. And it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I'm having flashbacks trauma. It could be like normal trauma in the sense where like, if somebody says something to you, it kind of reminds you of something in the past. Or if you think about a past memory, you're kind of back to that memory. Or like, let's say you have something happen to you on Monday and you think about it on Friday. And when you think about it on Friday, you get, emotional again. You know what I mean? You get reactivated. And so what EMDR does is it kind of like, hey, let's process this. Let's go through the whole situation so that when you do feel it again, it's like not as impactful. And so
it's kind of like you've already done it. It's like almost like a hypnotism, almost like.
I think it's just like
in the show they imply it as a hypnotism, right? Like in the show, it makes it seem like she's being hypnotized.
Yeah, I think yes. I think in the show it feels like that, but mostly it's what happens is when you
visual, how you tell it visually.
It's a visual representation. So you'll see it go left and right, but really you're reliving the moment, but you're doing it in a safe place where, like for example, let's say you have something going down a tunnel. Like let's just say you have a bar tunnel and you have water going down. If you pinch it at the very top, the water doesn't get to process all the way through down to the end of the tube. And so you're dealing with this trauma of you're like this clogged up stuff that can really fuck you up. And then EMDR does is you kind of unlock that pinch part in the tube and all of that water kind of flows through you. If that like symbolism makes sense for you.
So in the show, I think she was like, they were trying to unlock, because it did, right? It unlocked these memories that she had been bottling up, right? And what I really liked also is the visual impression that they did during when she was having those flashbacks. You still saw the red light kind of throughout the scene, which I think was like pretty cool.
Or when it got too stressful, it kind of like that's when she was like fading in and out.
I was watching the Batman, and even in the club, they had these red lights going back and forth. I don't know if that was intentional or not, or if it was just coincidental. Wow. But I was like, "Whoa, that looks like the EMDR lights that was going up and down."
Definitely intentional. Yeah.
Penguin. Yeah. Go ahead.
Ed. You guys don't like the Batman. It's weird.
It's like the Eternals. It's like the Eternals to me. You know what I mean? It's
I think they play it all the same. It's just not a very
I feel like I'm not going to go there. There'll be a time for my I'll get on a soapbox for the Batman, but we're celebrating the Penguin, which is of its universe, so I can just take that. You're obviously going to go see the Batman 2.
Oh yeah, it was Batman Part 2. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all right. So
I mean, I would have seen it regardless, to be honest, because I mean, I'm down to try it. You know.
Yeah.
It's not like.
No, it's okay. I'm getting sensitive. But
and I had a question I wanted to ask you about this. Okay. There's a scene in this last episode where we see Sofia taking shots of gin and then eating an olive. What were your thoughts when that was happening?
No. I get what they were doing. I it's just like I'm a different kind of alcoholic. Like I can drink vodka. I can drink most liquors just like straight and even. Gin is not one that I can drink neat, like or whatever.
Right. It's a rough one.
It's a bit of, and it's also very fragrant and botanical sometimes. Hendrix in particular, it's a very botanical gin. So not my favorite, but
is it an Italian thing?
I was gonna say that, because she was like
Italian thing.
She was sipping it and then taking an olive, right? Like a deconstructed martini almost, but I
like the Russians do like a vodka and an onion or something like that.
And like in England, it would probably just be like a pickled onion or something. Yeah, but the just as a drinker, a lover of gin. Don't get me wrong, but no, I just not for me. But she's crazy.
The way she eats. Remember when we first see her eating, she's just like grabbing stuff and stuffing in her mouth. I like that little detail.
The way she killed people also indicated that she might have been crazy. That's just
I loved her, but I can't wait to. No, I loved her.
She was firing on all cylinders.
Good show.
Yeah, great show.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, guys. What a great show. Eric, thanks for joining. No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's any last comments you want to say about the show or anything. I mean, I know.
I just think it is so in tune with the Batman. It baffles me that it's just like not the Batman that we love and want more of. Which is one of my biggest critique. No, it's not even a critique. It's just like I'm so ready for this next movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't tell you.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I watched the first one.
What did you guys think about Batman not showing up? Because I know everyone thought.
No, you want to talk about that? No,
that's a good question.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm glad that he didn't show up.
The Batman fan. I was totally fine with it. I thought it was like, hey, they literally just flooded the city. The guy's busy. This is all just like, and even at the end of the Batman,
which no one remembers.
He everybody remembers the monologue he has at the end where he's like, "There's going to be a power struggle. It's going to get worse." Like, yes, and that's exactly what's laying out for this series.
The beginning of the next movie, he's going to be like, and then the Penguin made a claim for Gotham. And you're like, okay, yeah, we watched the show. All right.
Come on.
Let me ask you
where were you? You know?
I will be curious to see like how they introduce Sofia in the movie, which they have to, right? I don't think
she'll die. She'll die right away.
No, I think we'll see her introduced through Selena. Selena's going to have her story where she tries to reconnect, and then Penguin will make moves, and then the Batman will have to face the Penguin. Blah blah blah.
The Penguin lives for 3 movies. Sofia dies. That's my.
She's never going to die.
No, she is.
She might just end up back in Arkham.
Oh, it's so sad.
She goes anywhere. Like I feel no. She
doesn't deserve to go to Arkham. I want her to have a good life. For the love of God, this poor woman had such a horrible life.
I don't know. Here's
what do you mean? Her family put her into Arkham, and then they trauma her.
They did. Hang on. No, hang on a second. Let me just like play the other side for a second, okay? She murdered everyone with the gas.
You know what? Fine.
Okay?
I'm fine with it.
No, can you?
They didn't have her back. Okay, kill them.
Hey, just hang on a second.
Don't have my back. I'll kill you. Okay.
I 100% understand. No, I understand. But then she like looked at that little girl in her eyes, and they were like, she was like, they were terrible, and they deserve to die. And I'm gonna be real honest. As a dad, if you killed me and said that to my son, I would haunt you forever. Forever. So that was because at the same time, the mom that she killed, I understand that she was like involved a little bit, but she came up to Sofia every time and was like, "Oh my God, it's so good to see you. Oh my God."
Wasn't she also like, "No, honey, don't talk to her. No. Don't get me involved."
Only after the fact that she read the situation.
Only after the fact she went to Arkham, which was the fault of her father.
Stop. If I was at a dinner and my son was there, and then I read the vibes, like listen, Luis, I'm going to paint this picture just real quick, okay? But Luis, unfortunately, let's say you went to Arkham Asylum and you came back and you were a little kooky, okay?
I could be kooky,
and let's say. I was friends with you. I was friends with you without a kid, and I was friends with you with a kid. Without a kid, I'd be like, "Hey, give him a chance to assimilate back into society."
Right.
But if I have a kid and you're acting kooky, I'd be like, "Hey, leave my kid alone."
Not around the kid. Not around the kid.
And then at the same time, you killed me, and then you told my kid he was so bad. That's kind of fucked up.
Right.
Okay. That's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then also in that situation, Miguel, you would have written an affidavit claiming that Luis was crazy when he wasn't.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But now my kid's here, and you know what? I'm gonna pick a side. And my side is the youngling that's going to be here for the next 50 years.
Anakin hates younglings, you know.
That's another. I
just think she could have done more. She should have done more to kill Sofia. And honestly, at that point, I would have strangled her too. All right,
but like in a sex way.
No. Wait, what? No.
And with that, we're going to end the Penguin conversation. What an episode. Man. We have still so much more to go. We have what we're into. Eric, thank you so much for joining us for this pod.
Thank you.
Next time, we'll find a reason to bring you back. It doesn't have to be just for the Penguin, but it was such a treat having you here. Thank you for joining, and keep listening to the rest of the pod. You know what I mean?
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
And congratulations for being a part of it too. Like, I wasn't on the last pod, so I'm just like, that's very cool, and it's been cool to have that kind of insight. Yeah,
it was a really crazy time. It was a crazy show to work on, and I'm so glad it ended up very good.
Cool.
I mean, if it would have sucked, then we probably wouldn't have even talked about it. Yeah. No. So, Eric, how did it go wrong for you?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Eric.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Welcome back, everybody. We just talked about the Penguin. We're going to talk about what we're into. Guys, I've been into a lot. I know last week me and Miguel talked, and we didn't even get to talk about what we were into. And so I just brought that into this episode. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things to talk about. Ed has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things to talk about. And then Miguel, what do we have here?
My thing is my Taco Bell order is almost here. So
Miguel, okay, great. Tell us one thing you ordered on Taco Bell.
I'll tell you this. The one thing I ordered on TacoBell.com tonight was, hey.
No, you went to the app. You didn't go to the website.
I did. No, I did. But I ordered, how do you deactivate your Twitter? Okay. And you know what, you guys, I did today after 15 years? I fucking deactivated my Twitter account.
I'm shocked. Okay? I can't believe that you did that.
Guys, I did it.
I'm so glad.
Social media is so expansive. Let the kids take over now. They want to do TikTok. They want to do whatever. I'm done. Okay. I in 15 years. Let me ask you this: how many times did I go viral? Name
Twitter.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think you had a couple hot posts that people liked. You had a lot of good comments that somebody liked, right?
Did I? Yeah. How many?
I mean, you shared with me maybe 3.
Oh man, 2, 3 tops. Oh, so fucking hot. My Twitter was popping off. No, I made the decision today. I was like, after 15 years, I'm done. Thank you, Twitter. I appreciate it. I'm never gonna call it X. We're done. Ed never had a Twitter, and he was like, "Oh, Miguel, good for you." And I was like, "You don't know, all right? You don't know what I'm leaving behind." Okay, I hopped on. No, hang on a second. I hopped on Threads today, and I put it in my Twitter spot, and I hopped on Threads every time I had that itch, and it was an itch. Okay, and every time I hopped on Threads, I was like, "Motherfucker, why did I?"
Have you done Reddit?
The last page of the internet? Yeah, I did a couple times. A couple times. I got on Reddit today. No, but I was surprised that Threads gave me those like top trending topics.
It does. Like, they listen to you. I remember when we talked about that. You were like, I wish it had it. Now it has it. You can just go to the top.
It does. I learned some things about my government and economy today on Threads. And I was like, okay, like let's start here. But Twitter is done. I just want to... can I just like real quick, just like I was thinking about this earlier. I joined Twitter in 2009. Okay. Yeah. And can I tell you some of the things I made a list real quick. Hang on one second. I made a list of things that were going on in 2009. So back.
That's when District 9 was out.
District 9 came out in 2009. Wow. How
it did. It's not on my list, and I dare you to talk again. But my last little notes on Twitter 2009. Okay, Obama was just elected president. All of the trends every time you hopped on Twitter in 2009 were Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
and it was like, who the fuck is Justin Bieber? And you had to learn that. I was checking Twitter on my iPhone 3GS.
Oh yeah, that was a big step. Yeah.
Guys, do you remember this? Before the Twitter app, you used to have to be on twitter.com on the computer. And if you wanted to like post a tweet, you had to text twitter.com. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, no, I never did that. No, I joined Twitter late. Yeah.
No, you had to text your thoughts on Twitter.
I'm too young to know what that is, to be honest. I never did that.
Great.
I have a good memory about Twitter. There was a time where Miguel signed me up for it, and I told him to. Sorry. For
and what happened?
listening,
And what happened?
hold the microphone
Ed,
closer to me. I deleted it.
and I'll tell you this: it made me so angry, but apparently not angry enough to cut you out. And after this election,
so I should be grateful. No, if anything, I was right all along.
I'll tell you this. I tell you this. Let me wrap up. These are the two quick thoughts that I was like, "Ooh, Twitter 2009." 3 thoughts. The first thought being, fuck Ed for not joining in Twitter in 2009. But the other thing was hashtags. Do you guys remember hashtags?
Hashtags are huge. Yeah, of course.
Huge. You guys, we used to call it the pound symbol.
Yes.
Okay.
Pound symbol.
And now we call it hashtags. The kids don't know any different. And my last thought is I had dreams, I had ambitions in 2009. And the number one dream and ambition I had was, God, let me be verified on Twitter. Okay. let me get that blue check mark. And do you guys know what happened now?
Now you can pay for it.
You can subscribe to Twitter and get it for $9 a month. And I refuse.
I refuse. That's not the way you want to get a verification.
Let me.
You can get
it,
verified
okay?
on Instagram, can we? Or no?
Yeah, I don't want a girlfriend because I pay for it. I want someone who loves me. Okay, who sees me for who I am. And Twitter just does not do that. Now, I'll wrap this up by saying Elon Musk can suck a dick.
Yay!
Thank you guys so much for having me. And
that's what Miguel's into. We also have somebody who's into something else. Hold on.
It's me, the Penguin.
Sorry, we don't have time for you, the Penguin. Okay. What am I into? Okay, let's talk about this real quick. Okay, I'm gonna start off with something silly here because I got so much I got to talk about. But I'm gonna be very quick. You guys know PB&Js, right?
This is the thing you're going to start off quick with.
Yeah,
I have so many questions.
Rhetorical questions.
Okay.
No, yeah, you have a blowjob in PB&J.
Okay.
Go ahead.
PB&J. Okay, PB&J. You usually get like what standard like white bread, wheat bread, toasted. PB&J. Have you ever guys made a PB&J with a fucking bagel?
I'll kill you.
Let me tell you this right now. I made a bagel PB&J and I love it. If you haven't done it, it's a nice experience. Toast that motherfucker and you get a lot of floof with the bread. I had a great time with the BP&J. BPJ.
Luis versus Ed. Ed's been to New York. Luis, you live in LA. Bagel versus bagel. Good.
Baby, I be getting my bagels at Ralph's. It's just a grocery store.
For one motherfucker, I'm allergic to peanut butter. Like, what? What are you talking
almonds?
about?
At this point, I'm going to go get my Taco Bell.
Yes.
Yes. Are you allergic to...
Sent to hospital by both.
Almonds and peanuts?
Yeah.
Ed, what's a nut that you can have? Technically, peanut is not a nut.
And survive?
Yeah.
Well, peanut is like the worst for me.
It's a legume.
Take it up with God. I don't know. I've had walnuts, been okay, but don't typically eat them. Maybe hazelnuts. There was a time where I ate Nutella and was okay. So
we'll find you a nut that you can eat, and we'll make this work for you. I'm gonna move on because it's just we're talking about peanut butter and jelly. Like that's not really like the topic of our conversation.
And yet we're talking about it, aren't we?
But you know what? I had such a good time with it. I was like, I gotta let the people know that I'm having such a good time with bagels and a PB&J. Miguel's got a Taco Bell coming up. I've got so many things to talk about. Ed, let me give it to you. We're gonna go back and forth on what we're into.
Okay, I saw
tag team match.
Yeah. I saw M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. And that's not euphemism. It's on Max right now. It was not good. The trailer was somewhat intriguing, but it felt like the dialogue was atrocious. It's like M. Night Shyamalan hasn't had a genuine conversation with a person in his life. and the way that the story develops, it has some interesting moments, and it takes place within a stadium, kind of like a Taylor Swifty concert,
Right.
which is actually M. Night Shyamalan's daughter who's singing, and she becomes like a main character later. It just really wasn't good, man. And Josh Hartnett, God bless him, I'm glad he's like having a moment, but this moment wasn't his. This isn't the kind of role that he can. I'm so
excited to watch this one. I just like can't wait to watch Trap. I was like, this is the movie of the year for me. Anora, who? You know, like I was like, let me see.
Oh, shut up.
Let me see Trap.
I heard Trap had like, you kept thinking it was going to end, and it kept going and going and going.
It did.
I love that. I love that.
It leaves the stadium at some point. I was like, and there's
which I don't want to leave in this. I don't want to leave the stadium. This movie,
I thought that was like the most.
Told me it was a trap.
That's the most compelling part about it, and it leaves, and then there's still like 30 minutes left of the movie, and I was
hang on. Can I say this real quick? I made my parents watch The Batman with me when they were here, and my mom fell asleep, and my dad watched like 2 hours and 20 minutes of that movie, and I paused at one point, and there was 55 minutes left in it, and he was like, I'm good. And I was like, me too. I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't mean to make you watch
The Batman?
I was like, I'll watch this later. It's fine. And same with Trap, okay? Like, I don't want to find out a movie has 20, 30 minutes left in the movie. You know?
After like
I'm done.
Interesting shit as
I'm like, this is it.
It's so dumb. I would love for you guys to watch it just so we could talk about it.
I'll get high and drunk and watch it for sure.
None of it was convincing. I watched it at work, and there was like one or two moments where I was like, "Ooh, shit!" But it was only ever that. You know, everything else just felt hammy, forced, unbelievable, and the dialogue again was just so bad. So
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, and even if it was like a choice, it was a stupid choice. You know what I mean? Anyway, bless him. This wasn't it.
My turn. I watched The Wild Robot. You know that movie. You watched it, Ed, and Miguel, you watched it too, right?
Yeah, great movie.
Ages ago.
Y'all, I'm gonna tell you this right now.
You cried.
You didn't like it.
I've never cried that hard in such a long time. I was fucking sobbing through that whole movie. And I'm not even a parent yet. So once I have a baby or a kid, I'm gone. Like I got to take off work for a week because that's going to kill me. Like this is such a great movie, and we have Inside Out 2. This movie should win Best Picture, Animated Picture for sure. I'm calling it right now.
Oh, okay, all right.
I never cried so fucking hard in a movie. So I don't even remember the last time I cried so hard.
Did you like Pedro Pascal as the fox?
I had no idea he was the fox until the very end of the movie.
And did you like it? Yes or no?
When I first heard the fox, I was like, "Oh, this is funny. This is trying to sound like what's his name from Zootopia."
Yes, 100%.
Yes,
yeah.
And then I was like, "I don't care. I'm just going to keep listening to it." I didn't really know any of the actors until I watched it.
Pedro.
What's up?
I rolled my eyes a little hard when I realized it was.
No, I didn't know who anybody was in that movie until afterwards, and I felt like, for me at least, I was able to enjoy it without being like, "Oh, that's fucking Robert Downey Jr." So he's not in the movie.
The way that Bear Iron Man did, I was like, "Damn, he refuses."
Look, all that to say, I think he was like a very well done movie, and it's just like this poor robot.
You know what's
at the very
crazy?
beginning of the movie, like he wasn't able to do anything. Like he kept fucking failing, and I was like, "Wow, that's so real."
Did you guys know this is based on a book? And there's like 3 books.
There's 3 books. Yes, I'm about to read them. Fuck them. Fuck it.
My son just had
the books. I'm gonna read them.
No, fuck, I would read. Yeah,
I just found that out, and my son just had a play date, and she was like, "Oh, I read those 3 books," and I was like, "Let me read them." All right, that was a good book.
Because the movie ends with such kind of a cliffhanger, and we're like, we want this robot to do this other thing. No spoilers,
yes, sir.
And then it's like, no. There's a chance for the story to continue.
Let's see.
The hype is real, y'all. Like I really was like, I really could have lost myself.
You know what's crazy is I took my son to go see this movie, and I was like, "Where's my wife?" You know, like I feel like she would really.
I took Lily to go see it on my birthday, so Sarah was at home, and since like we got it on Plex, I've been saying like I want you to watch it because I think you'll enjoy it.
Got to watch it.
Yeah,
I need to update my Plex, by the way.
But no, it's a super sweet movie. It definitely got me in the feels multiple times.
I've never been in the feels so much, I feel like.
Oh, I'm in the feels frequently. I cry so much at the movies, it's embarrassing.
But this one, I mean, I fucking got a stab, twist, pull out. Like, I don't know, I cry too much. Ed, what else are you into? What are you watching?
So yeah, okay. A couple of weeks ago, I wish I had talked about it sooner. I actually had like a voice memo to send you guys. Didn't end up doing it because of the election. And anyway, I went to go see Anora, and that was like my first dabble in a Sean Baker movie. I'm guessing neither of you have seen it yet.
No, I saw the Florida Project.
One of the best ones I saw.
Okay, I really do want to watch this movie. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I won't talk about it too much. Other than I had a great time with it. I did not expect, and I'm not going to overblow it either. But you know, for a movie that has all the hype right now, it got the Palme d'Or, obviously at the Cannes Festival. But for all the hype, you know, you never know what you're going to get. But for me, it was just like such a wild ride, and I did not expect. If you watch the trailer, you would not expect how funny this movie is.
I didn't expect that at all. Yeah,
it had my whole theater laughing throughout most of the duration, up until the very last scene, which kind of hits you, and you're just like, "Oh shit!"
You had to be like, "Whoa, yeah."
Hey Miguel, eat your burrito for a minute.
Oh my god! No, I mean, how long is this movie? Is it like
it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes?
That's not bad. I'll do
that. Let me tell you, it moves at a very fast rate. It never feels like it's overstaying its welcome. The chemistry between all of the characters is great. The supporting cast is great. Like everybody's talking about Mikey Madison as the lead in Anora, but like everybody else is really so good, and it just goes to really unexpected places. It was a nice introduction into Sean Baker, who is a director I've been following, but I haven't watched any of his movies. Since then, I have watched Red Rocket. I'm going to watch Florida Project next, and then Tangerine.
Florida Project is so good.
I'm working back. I know, and it's eluded me for so long. I just never like committed to it. And
if it's not on Plex, we got to fix that. Let me know if it's on Plex.
I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix actually, and Max.
It's also kind of like Willem Dafoe's best role, and he's been doing so many good roles.
And I mean, yeah, that's saying something because it's Willem Dafoe, of course. Red Rocket was a blast too. The characters like way shitty. Well, you know, just like less enjoyable than Anora, but like wild all the same. Just like real ass people, but like here comes this like piece of shit who comes along. He's like a adult film star, yada yada, and he like comes back to Texas. Shout out to Galveston that makes like multiple cameos throughout that movie. Like places
that's not good. That's not good.
No, it's a fun movie. But like based off of those two movies alone, like I know I'm going to enjoy Florida Project, and like I don't know why it's taken me so long, but I would recommend Anora to anyone. I feel like it's a good date movie.
I've been kind of excited. I was just like, Luis put me onto this AMC subscription, and I was like, do I want to just like, let me just go see Anora? I've not heard too much about it. I was like, let me just go. You know,
okay.
I think everybody would enjoy it. I think Sarah would enjoy it. I think Sarah would enjoy it. I think Cristin would enjoy it. There's a lot to enjoy. It's like
I like some of those other ones. So.
It's Uncut Gems meets Cinderella. No.
Cinderella or Pretty Woman?
Cinderella and Pretty Woman, but it's not like that story. Saying. It's not the story of like, oh, it's a hooker with a heart of gold. It's not. Anora is like her own woman. She is like feisty. She's not like she's not perfectly innocent. I'm not sure.
I thought Tangerine was about like. Well,
I thought Tangerine was about a woman of the night.
Right, but I think it's mostly about that, and this one it transitions more into another like story narrative.
I'm excited. It's pretty good.
Anyway, it's really good. I would be, I don't think it's one of those movies that's going to win Best Picture, but Best Actress, maybe Best Screenplay. for sure. And like I said, the supporting cast is great. It is so fun, and I'm not going to give anything away because I just didn't know where it was going the whole time, and you keep expecting it to go one way and it doesn't. So the less you know, the better. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, and that's all I got to say about that. Moving on to you, Louise.
Yeah, this is what a great transition I can make it to. Mickey Madison, she's in Anora. She's also in the TV show Better Things, which is on FX. She plays the daughter of Pamela Adlon. She also is the showrunner for Better Things. Speaking of Pamela Adlon, she directed a movie called Babes, which stars what's her name from
is this where we're going?
Ilana Glazer from Broad City.
Oh.
And so there's the connection that we have going on here. I watched this just this past or 2 weekends ago. I think I was supposed to talk about this last week. Let's see. Pregnant from a one-night stand, Eden leans on her best friend and mother of two, Dawn, to guide her through gestation and beyond. This movie has not been getting enough attention as it should. This is a repeatable comedy movie. Like, if you haven't heard about it, take a chance. Watch Babes. We watched it, while we were having a good night. This is like a repeat comedy movie. If you like Broad City, if you like Ilana Glazer, check it out. It's let's see how long it is. It's not too long. I can't even find the runtime. But it's an hour 49. It's a fun movie. Again, directed by Pamela Adlon, who did Better Things. She was also in Louie. She's great. She was also the voice of that one character in King of the Hill. Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
She's the voice of Bobby. The voice of Bobby directed this movie.
I don't know you.
Yeah, she's great. Babes, highly recommend. I feel like this is one that's just going to be on in the background while we watch. Okay, Ed, to you.
All right. I talked about this maybe like a month ago. Disney Plus just released their documentary about John Williams, and it's called Music by John Williams. It's if you're just like a John Williams fan, a movie score fan, I think this is right up your alley. I don't think it does anything particularly new as far as like documentaries about famous people go, but it is insightful. It's great to see him and Steven Spielberg bouncing off of each other and just like how they engage with one another, how they name, like, he's like Johnny and he's Stevie, and George Lucas was Georgie, kind of thing, because like John Williams like was raised and learned his music through jazz on the radio and stuff like that, and it's cool to see those influences. It of course hits on all the classics, like from Jaws to E.T., Schindler's List, etc. The different phases of his career. It's not going to hit every movie. I wish they would discuss Hook at some fucking point in their lives while they're alive. But such as it is, it's insightful.
Dun, 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 dun,
exactly.
Yeah.
And to its credit, it does, for the end credits, it ends with the Hook end credits.
Oh,
music.
That's not, yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway. They talk about all those, and I mean, it's easy breezy documentary, nothing dramatic or anything. And I texted you guys in the opening few minutes where they kind of build up the whole subject. It had me in tears right away. John Williams is a part of my life.
Absolutely.
100% for anybody who ever loved a movie. You probably know a theme. So anyway, it was just cool to get a little bit of insight. Like I could have watched another 2 hours, more content about him, but they have some cool behind the scenes stuff, how they came up with certain themes for bigger movies like Star Wars and stuff. Right. And it was good. Would recommend, again, for just like the casual score lover or just John Williams lover. Like, it's easy to watch and very fulfilling in that regard.
I forgot. I did actually start this documentary, and when you said you were watching it, I was like, "Oh shit, it is on! I want to watch it too." I have 30. I just went on my Disney Plus. I have 36 minutes remaining, which really means I have about 30 minutes remaining because they have the long credits at the end.
Yeah.
I think I made it as far when they were talking about Close Encounters and maybe E.T. But then I didn't get past that portion yet. So it was really nice to hear what he was doing before his time with Spielberg, because when we think about John Williams, we think about Spielberg, we think about George Lucas, but really, like, how did he get to that point before he met them? Like, he already had a career before he met Spielberg and Lucas. And so it was really informative to kind of get that understanding. And I don't know, John Williams, every time you see him in the past, you're like, oh, he looks the same all the time. But then you kind of get a glimpse of it.
Young. Yeah, I've never seen him so young. And, you know, to your point, though, he broke down those barriers from, you know, in the music world, people thought that movie scores were kind of like sub-level kind of thing. But he kind of broke that down, and he kind of set those standards whenever he started playing for whatever Philharmonic.
I think it was the Boston Philharmonic.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
But then he kind of like left because of their attitudes towards certain things. But obviously he went back eventually, and now I feel like a lot of the music world like relies on movies, you know. That's how they engage with audiences. That's how audiences recognize music, as through film. I know, like, and I'm not just talking about movie scores, but music on most levels, like songs and stuff, like classical music. Most of that influence I've gotten through movies. Like, so it is just you know, one entity. Anyway, it was a great documentary. I hope you finish it, Luis. I mean, like I said,
I'll finish it tonight.
It's for us, it's easy stuff, but it's cool to see.
I mean, he's such, like, when you think of a composer, it's like anybody. It's like, think of one composer. Everyone can name John Williams, and he's just. They made a great point in the documentary. It's like, listen, a composer would love to have one or two of these hits, and he keeps doing it back to back to back, and it's just he has a very you know, he was born into a family of that, which is understandable. But no, great documentary, like you said, easy watch. I have
and
to,
that's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. I have to finish it. Ed, since it's you and me right now, I watched The Substance.
Okay.
I can't believe you watched it. I mean, I wanted to watch it, but I'm so surprised that you like really got into watching it yourself. I'm interested to know what your opinion. I mean, I know we talked about it earlier, but now that I've watched it, like, well,
it was one of those movies where you know, it was more. I don't want to say controversial. I don't think it has been controversial. Maybe shocking, just for what it is and what it's about. And, you know, stuff that's going to kind of divide audiences just by its very nature. And I'll be honest, it wasn't a movie that necessarily appealed to me from the maybe body horror angle, to which it hits all levels of extreme. But what really sent me down the road, honestly, it was just my older sister, who her and I share our movie opinions frequently. She just was like, "Oh, I can't stop thinking about it," you know. So I was just like, "All right, I'll give it a go." And the trailers had been very appealing. I liked the look of it. I was curious to see what Demi Moore was doing. I like Margaret Qualley just from like Drive Away Dolls earlier this year. And Kinds of Kindness too. But so anyway, man. I mean, you watched it more recently than I have, so I'm curious to know what you thought.
I did watch it recently. It, like you said, for those who don't know, The Substance is a body horror movie starring Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, and If you feel queasy, maybe don't watch this movie. But I feel like this is a standout movie of the year for me already. I think there is a lot of like the production design and the cinematography are so good. Like I think they do a really good job of making it feel pulpy and bold and bright, and also delivering a message that is very, I don't know, relevant,
poignant
and relevant now. And funny enough, like, and this isn't to say this is definitely a rated R movie. Like, do not watch this with kids and stuff. But when when I watched it, I was like, I wonder if and this is not to say anything against anything, but I just think like, I wonder if a woman directed this, and it was a woman who directed it, because there are just, I don't know, there are just certain things that as a man I wouldn't be able to capture or see or I don't know, direct as much. Convey as much as she would. And it's something that, like, this is what art is, right? It's to have other people's opinions showcase certain things that you would never see or understand or able to convey. And it was just, it's also very comedic in its own way as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and just the way that it pushes the body horror, the way that you're putting the situation. And like, I also don't recommend you eat before watching this thing, but it still is like a very exciting little movie, you know? I don't know. I think it's a standout out of the horror movies, and I want to do like a horror ranking, because there have been so many that have come out this year. I feel like it's been a standout year of horror movies, and it's
becoming a bigger part. I feel like every year for the last 5-10 years, it's been a growing topic of discussion. Thanks to studios like A24, Blumhouse, and stuff like that. Neon has taken like a substantial turn. It's becoming an art house thing. It used to be a disgusting word, you know, we didn't say that, you know, but no, absolutely. And I kind of agree with basically all you just said. I think there are limits that are going to hit audiences that just can't sit through that. And I'm generally one of those people, you know. If anything, my curiosity brought me
I was
into
definitely
this film.
Like covering my fingers over my eyes at some points. I was like,
it's just like, oh god, you're just like, you see what they're setting up and what's gonna happen, kind of thing. But
the ending is for me, it's very satisfying. Like, it's like, they set it up, we got here, and this is this ridiculousness.
It was so
the
bizarre,
closing
crazy. But I also like one of the biggest standouts, like, randomly for me, like one of the grossest things I've seen all year is Dennis Quaid eating shrimp.
Yes.
The sound design, the visual, and
even the editing really was specific towards Dennis Quaid during that portion, because it was very like sporadic and quick and like intrusively
close up.
Intrusive, you know?
We're just like really up in his personal space, and it's very gross, basically. But like, it's just like crazy. Just the basic setup of the substance itself, without giving any explanation of how it really works, beyond the very practical setup for it, and how the visual look of it and how they apply it, you just like, you understand instantly what everything does.
Exactly.
And you're just like, okay, you buy it. And that's just like great storytelling in itself, you know. And again, like you were saying, everything looks so vibrant, even the gross stuff, you're just like, you almost can't look away. And it comes down to whether you can stomach it or not, literally. And you know, if you can, I think it's gonna be one of those movies that people are just like, oh yeah, the fucking substance. That was Wild movie.
You watch and you're like, oh no, they're gonna do that. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. You know, and it's just like that.
Or you're just like, don't do it because you know what's gonna happen. And
the way that it pulls your like that feeling constantly throughout the movie of like, oh no, here we go. Like that's what I really like.
Especially as it built up towards the end, you're just like, oh my god, what is happening?
No, don't do it. Yeah.
Just when it all explodes, you're just like, oh my god.
And then it leans hard into it, you know? Yeah.
100%. Like once it gets there, it just doesn't stop. And you're just... And then, like you said, that closing shot is just kind of brilliant at the end of it. You're just like, wow, what a circle, what a journey. Very, like, visually still very appealing. It'll be interesting to see just, like, where it goes this award season, you know. I know, like, it probably won't get
any attention in the award season, to be honest. I feel like it's just too...
I think it will... I feel like it's definitely gotten some momentum, definitely.
I hope
It'll be a stretch for cinematography, but production design maybe. Obviously, people are talking about Demi Moore. I think she would be a dark horse, but I think it could happen if people get on board with it.
I think the recognition alone of her even being nominated would be valuable enough.
Yeah. And then maybe makeup, I would say.
Makeup. Oh, yeah, of course. Oof. Yeah. That one, that'd be great.
Anyway,
okay, so that was, I watched The Substance.
I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Is there anything else on your list? I don't know if this is fake or real, or if you're done.
Miguel tampered with it.
He tampered with his doc, so I can't tell.
But no, I'll just skip it. That's not
because I have 3 more things, so I can like bounce right through these. But I feel like this is these are kind of more Miguel topics here, so that's why. Not to say that it's not your topics, but like, do you have anything else that you're into, or no?
No, not really. We've just been, you know.
Okay. Okay. So, the 3 things I wanted to talk about was I've been playing this game. Hold on. Can I talk about this first? Actually, let me see. When does the game release? Does it come out this week? Does it come out? I'm looking it up. It's not telling me. Okay. If it doesn't come out, then I'll cut it out. I've been playing this game called Lego Horizon Adventures.
Yes.
Ed, this is you love Lego. I love Lego.
I do. Yeah.
And we've obviously played the Lego game. The great thing about this game is that if you've played Lego games in the past, not everything actually is built on Legos.
Which you guys have been kind of hyping me up to that idea. Like, I mean, because they have so many different video games of Lego that whatever, you know, meets whatever appeals. But sorry, all that to say, like, I'm open to it more now. Yeah,
exactly. So this is this game, you know, this whole game is basically built like if you take a still frame of the game, you could literally build the whole level based off Legos. Unlike other Lego games in the past from Telltales, like the buildings, the structures, the background, the grass, all of that is actually not Lego based. Like the characters and some of the things that you encounter are Lego built, but like the structures and all of that are not Lego built. But Lego Horizon Adventures, which is based off the Horizon series, Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West, this game is purely built off Legos. And I'm really nailing this point because it is such a beautiful looking game.
Yeah. Like, well, I remember Horizon being visually appealing. I never played it, obviously, but everything I saw from it and everything I heard from it, like, that was the thing, right? It looked great.
It looked great, and I think they were able to translate that into this game too. And I think this is the perfect family game. Like, if you want to play a game with your child or your kid, it's a couch co-op. You can play online as well, but it's couch co-op, and it's easy enough where you can get like, you can feel like it's challenging and you're doing things, but it's not hard enough where you feel stuck. Like, oh, what's the puzzle? Or, oh no, I can't get through this level. You can choose different levels of difficulty, but even so, like in the middle level, I feel like you and a kid could get through it. And so it's just such a beautiful looking game. I think the thing that stands out for me is how light and the sun, just how crisp and clear and bright it is. And it's a simple game. It's about 6 hours long, but it's an easy, quick, fun, family, beautiful looking game. I've never played the Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West games. Yeah. But this was, I didn't need to play it. And so that was enjoyable in that.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's today's, that's our episode today, everybody. We talked about the Penguin, the news. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. But until then, it's been me, Luis Gonzalez.
The week before Gladiator.
Oh, is this the week before? No, Gladiator's not.
I'm seeing it next Thursday, so no,
right.
It wouldn't be.
So next week we don't know what we're going to talk about, but the following week we'll probably talk about the Gladiator 2. Okay. Review's already out. You know, it's kind of like around 7-ish out of 10,
7 or 8. Let's see.
You were looking at the reviews because you weren't even sure yourself if you were going to watch it.
Yeah, like I said, just because Ridley Scott has been so up and down, left and right these days, and especially after like Napoleon and Gladiator is something I love, so I'm wary of it. So if anything, it just reaffirmed my expectations, and now I'm just looking for a good time, and we'll see if it achieves.
Yeah,
that.
I think the same thing here. It's like I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm willing to give it a go and see where we kind of land with this movie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Did they say that they were already talking about a Gladiator 3, or was I misheard that?
Apparently, the movie actually sets up for it. So,
wow.
Or
okay.
And I'm not talking like in a superhero sense, or at least I hope not. Just more of like opportunity for the story to continue. Right. And I don't know what that means at all. So
I wonder if he's going to direct that. I know he was talking about Alien and stuff, but we'll see.
I know the guy just cannot let his IP alone. But I think people are describing it more as like it's kind of like a trilogy of the fall of Rome.
Gotcha.
If you had to sum it up.
Well, tune in for that. We have Gladiator 2. We have Nosferatu coming out in Christmas, right? Is that when it comes out?
Yeah, too far away, but I cannot wait.
I'm going to try to watch Anora. A new Fortnite season is coming. We'll try to bring a guest for that one. But listen, until next time, it's been me, Luis Gonzalez. Of course, we had Miguel Sanchez and
Ed Bull.
And until next time, Gabalagool, right?
Gabagool.
Gabagool.